everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Disc Golf Answer Man. I am Bobby Cool Daddy Slick.
He's gotten more and more ridiculous, Paige. Somebody's got to corral.
More and more exaggerated each time.
Cool Daddy Slick Breeze. And in the house we have Paige Pierce.
Okay, thank you.
Robert Elliptical McCall.
I was on the elliptical.
It's on the elliptical.
I did it.
We are back. I'm back. I am back from Panama. My vacation had an amazing time. I hope you guys enjoyed the Disc Golf Answer Man takeover with Danny and Robert Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
I watched a little bit of it while I was in Panama. They did an excellent job, but Bobby is back in his house and ready to answer your disc golf questions or to mess up your name. Whatever comes first.
Probably both.
And more likely mess up people's names, but that's okay. That's what we're all about.
Dude,
having
no
a good
name
time.
says looking slim, my guy.
Yes, I'm trying to, and I'm
go.
sure it's
And
a little bit of a tan. Yes, I got a little color.
Look at this guy, man.
I know. So I did a little video for my grandchildren. I was in the ocean water and I was saying hello to them and stuff like that. And I didn't have a shirt on, and you should see, I look like two different people. I have a little neckline from the tan and then nothing.
Oh yeah. For sure.
Then I had to explain the tattoo to my parents. They didn't know I had a tattoo on my back. So.
Nice. Cool.
So that was cool. So it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't like they were like freaking out or anything. They're like, oh, when did you get a tattoo? I was like, oh, yeah. So no big deal. Anyway, we have in.
So when did you get it?
2 years ago. It was my daughter. Me and my daughter got similar tattoos, and it's actually a father-daughter design that she found. So yeah, she has it on her ankle, and I have it on my back.
Yours says father.
You didn't want to get an ankle tat?
It's a father-daughter thing.
No, but it says father on your back.
No, it's a symbol.
Joking,
oh, okay. Yeah. It just says father. Father.
It says father. Hers says daughter.
Right,
that's correct.
No, I did not want to get it on my ankle, Paige. I thought it'd be cooler here, but I do think I want to get a cross right here on my shoulder, on my
arm. That's called an arm.
Yeah.
Most people call that an arm.
Well, I couldn't think. I was thinking of the placement, the actual placement.
That would
for
be
our audio listeners.
Tricep, shoulder area.
Yeah, tricep, bicep area. Get a kind of a cross there. I think that'd be kind of cool. So anyway,
Luke says it's a butterfly tattoo. Accurate, Luke. Thanks for contributing.
Yeah, it's a butterfly. Yeah, blossoming. So, Paige, talk to us about, now you got back from another tropical place, Croatia, but you had like a trip though. You went to somewhere and then you went to somewhere else.
Yes.
Talk us through multiple times.
I went to a few somewheres.
Yeah.
So first I went to Spain, and the day I landed, the course owner of Mijas Disc Golf Park picked us up from the airport, went there and did a clinic and a 1-round challenge, and spent 2 weeks in Spain, and then went to Croatia, and which was the whole reason for the trip, but just kind of like added Spain to it. But yeah, in Croatia, we did a disc golf tourist trip where 15 people came, and we were essentially roommates for those 15 days. We kind of woke up, had breakfast together, and then like played disc golf and went and touristed around together, and then got in the van and drove to a new city all through Croatia for 9 days. And we played a couple tournaments and did some clinics and just bonded, basically. Yeah,
that's awesome. Really I saw some of your Instagram story and stuff like that, and I thought it was really cool. Some of the cool. What was the lady? You were putting a T-shirt on her or something?
Oh yeah, that was really
like a really
crazy.
cool lady.
There was one of the cities that we were in we were there on New Year's Eve. New Year's Day, and they had a just like downtown in their city center, they had like a parade with live music and stuff like that. And we went to the front row naturally and started dancing, singing, whatever, jumping around. And there was one older lady that was there by herself that didn't speak any English, but she just was like loving our energy and started dancing with us and just hugging us. And like, I don't know, it was really funny.
Assisting you in dancing is what it looked like she was doing.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
But she was Slovenian, and 2 of the people that came on this trip were Slovenian. So they started communicating, and she just loved us so much. She wanted us to come back to her house, and she was going to feed us and give us wine and just thank us. And we followed her back to her house, and she cooked for us.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. We gave her a disc golf tourist shirt and a disc, and the Slovenian people got her phone number, and we called her later that night and just said Happy New Year. And her daughter was there, and apparently she had told this story to her daughter, and her daughter thought she was senile. She didn't believe her. She's like, "What are you talking about? You had 15 people to the house today. What do you mean?" And so when we called her, the daughter was super excited and
That's
like,
cool.
yeah, but
That's
it was
awesome.
really fun.
Well, that's cool to make that connection way over there with people, meeting new people. And
Yeah,
things
it was
like
really
that.
fun.
And I'm assuming, I mean, it's safe to assume that there's probably lots of pictures we can expect from Alyssa.
Yes.
Being on the trip and stuff like that. So
yeah, we got a bunch of them put already on like an Amazon folder for like everybody that was on the trip.
Oh,
but,
okay.
And I've been posting them slowly, but yeah, I'm sure we could put out a little album or something. Maybe
Well, I'm just assuming people can follow you on Instagram.
Yeah.
What's your Instagram name?
P Pierce 29190.
Right, and you'll see some pictures. Then, of course, Alyssa Van. I always forget her last name. Lauren.
Van Lannen.
Van Lannen, yeah.
Lauren. So I'm sure she'll be posting stuff out there. So if you
Alyssa
guys
Van
wanna-
Lannen images.
Mhm.
Yeah, so she'll be posting stuff out there. So if you don't follow them, make sure you follow those too, so you can catch up on their disc golf tourist photos and fun and things like that.
And there will be a video encompassing the entire trip.
Nice.
Maybe not for another couple weeks.
Right. Very
But yeah,
But then
we
you were-
documented all 9 days.
Yeah, then you were also on Croatian national TV. Or
Oh
what
yeah,
was
that's
it?
right.
Talk about that. That was cool.
So yeah, in the middle of that, one of the club, I don't know if he was the club president. Yeah, he was a club president. His name was Tommy. He was going to be on national television on Good Morning Croatia. And
Interesting name for us.
Yeah.
If only someone had thought of
Yeah,
it.
right.
And he asked if, since we were in that city that day, would I want to join him? And I was absolutely.
Yes.
So I've been on the news a few times, but this was national television.
Yeah.
Like in the
And
studio too. Like
yeah, it was
the makeup and all.
so surreal experience. Like he picked us up, we went in, we had to go to this gate where they asked us what we were doing. And when we first walked in, we had to sit at this little table where we met the translator and the makeup lady and a couple other people. And she's like, yeah, I'm just putting a face to my voice because you're going to be hearing me through a headset. I'm going to be translating everything.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it was
How
all in
unnerving
Croatian.
was that?
It
Like-
was, I did not know what I was getting into. It was 7 a.m. and I should have drank my coffee before I left the hotel.
Right. So that it would like kick in
Right.
and you're feeling good.
So then we get back, they sit me down, they open the store, and it's like 20 feet of mirrors with these lights, and they just start putting all this makeup on me, which I've probably worn 3 times in my whole life.
I was gonna say, yeah.
It made me take out my side pony and said it would be a pity to have a side pony in. And
That's what they said to you?
They said it would be a pity. Yes. So I'm like, okay, good. Might need to rethink that then, huh? And then I get the headpiece on. We meet the anchors in between their little sets, and they say, okay, we'll see you on stage in a minute. Good to meet you. Turns out she lived in the States for 10 years. And so she spoke pretty good English, but still, like, all 4 million of the viewers are Croatian.
Sure.
Right.
So, of course, we were going to speak in Croatian. They were.
Which you were an expert in at that
Yeah, so good.
point. Fluent.
So good.
Perfect.
Yeah, so I have this earpiece in my ear, and it was in my left ear, and to my left are the 2 anchors, and Tommy is to my right, and they're switching between asking me questions and asking him questions, and it was delayed, of course, the translation.
Yeah.
So they would be speaking Croatian at me, and I know they're talking to me because they're staring at me.
Right.
And then I have to wait for her to translate it. And then I say it back, and then she translated it to them. So it was kind of delayed. And at times I wanted it to be more fluid. So I would start to answer halfway through their question, and that didn't work out well. But yeah, then it was kind of like, it was really hard.
Yeah.
It was quite a challenge, and it was interesting. But I asked, and he said it didn't come across like it was delayed at all. We did really well, and they actually were very, very pleased with how it
That's
went.
awesome.
So
Yeah,
for
that's good.
me personally, I didn't think it went well because I felt the delay. But
It's so strange. Like, especially for you having to translate between languages, like just having someone in your ear while you're talking,
Right.
it's so impossible to do.
well, and also you got to think about there's 3 different people besides me talking,
Mhm.
but it's only one translator.
Right.
So it was one voice between 3 voices.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know who she was translating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it was interesting and definitely challenging, but I loved it. It
That's
was
awesome.
really cool, and yeah, they said over 4 million people watched it. So
That's so
really
cool. Nice. That we've got over 4 million people watching this show right now.
It's typical.
Oh, sorry, 189.
Oh.
Almost.
Oh, okay, almost.
Almost. Next time.
Give it a couple minutes and the word will spread and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's jump into the questions.
Let's.
So that people think remember that we're a disc golf show. And yeah,
Bobby's on one about non-disc golf topics.
No, we don't do that. We don't do that.
Whatever.
I mean, all the social
One
media
person
guides,
calls into the show and is like, "I really wish y'all would do more disc golf questions," and Bobby's like, "Oh, I don't know. We should be able to talk about whatever." And so he's been on it ever since.
Anyway,
it just grinds his.
There's certain psychology and there's certain things that you learn about in social media that make what we do okay. And so for when one person gets all upset, I'm like, okay, you're the
chill, please.
You're the
Netflix and drill, please.
You're the odd ones out. Who watches Odd Ones Out? Do you ever watch Odd Ones Out on YouTube?
What is that?
Never heard of it.
It's a cartoon. It's funny, and you should watch it.
Okay, Danny does.
Danny watches it. Yes, it's a funny.
I just watched Bird Box though. Have you seen that?
What did you think of that?
It really made me uncomfortable for a minute.
Yeah.
I was on the plane and I was like, oh. But it got over that, and I loved the ending.
I thought it was a pretty good show. Did you hear about the teenager that wrecked his car doing the Bird Box challenge?
Oh, come on.
What do you mean?
He was.
There's a Bird Box challenge.
Well, yeah, I'm sure people just doing things blindfolded.
Yeah, they blindfold while they drive.
I see. That's so silly.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And so let me guess, he's trying to sue the show.
No, I haven't heard that, but I'm sure. Well, Netflix had to post a tweet to tell people don't do the stuff like you have to do that.
Right, like McDonald's having to tell.
Oh, someone someone says, "Is this the after show?"
Just a late start.
It is for you. In fact, we're gonna turn you. We're gonna ban you. No, I'm playing. We're not gonna.
The entire show is the after show.
Right. All right. Let's get into the questions.
Let's talk about.
What do you
disc
say
golf.
we get into the questions?
Let's.
Guys, remember you can go to discgolfanswerman.com, submit your disc golf questions, and we will get them on the air after about 10-15 minutes. Sorry. Sorry.
That one got me pretty good, Bobby.
All right, the first one is from Doc XN. I think I say it right. I hope so. I know he follows us on a lot of places.
Zen.
So Doc
Zen.
Just
don't
Doc
worry about
Zen.
It. Just do it.
Dachshund. He's a dog. Dachshund. No, he's not a dog. I'm sorry. He's asking about form. Is there anyone on the Dynamic Discs team, doesn't have to be a pro, who's left-handed and maybe could do some videos on recommendations of discs for left-hand, backhand players? I know I can just reverse whatever I read in here, but sometimes it's a pain. It would be nice to be catered to like the right-hand backhands are. Who do we have? We have Zach Melton
and Chris Clements.
Oh, Clements.
Henrik Johansson is a really good lefty as well.
Yeah, we got the best lefties.
Got some really good lefties on the team. If you're looking for specific disc recommendations, I'm going to be honest with you. They fly the same right-handed for right-handed people as they do left-handed. But if you're interested in hearing the way that they fly differently, yeah, Zach or Chris, I'm sure they'd be willing to help you out.
Would it just be one video talking about choosing it over, or you know what I'm saying? How extensive could it even be?
Well, if you ask a left-handed player to describe discs, they're going to talk about them in their natural way. So Zach will be like, well, yeah, this flips a little bit for me, which when we say that means it moves right. For him, that means it moves left.
Gotcha.
But it really just comes down to terminology. And so I'm not left-handed. I don't know your struggle of throwing or of only hearing right-handed disc reviews. But if you want to talk to lefties, those would be the lefties I'd recommend you to talk to.
We'll try to figure out, see if we can do couple videos for some lefties out there. This one is from Evan. When I'm practicing in the open field, no obstacles, I can get my drives to go consistently 360 to 390.
Nice.
When I step on the course, I seem to have a mental block and can only get my drives around 320 to 330, it seems. Any tips to get over this hump? Do you guys struggle with this as well? My form needs work still. Been back at the course for 3 months and after a 10-year hiatus.
What do you think, Jim?
So what's your strategy there?
Honestly,
what did you say?
I said champ.
Oh, I thought you said Jim too.
James, Jimothy. May I call you Jimothy? Champ.
I think honestly, you throw your farthest when you're not trying as hard, and I think a lot of times when people try to start throwing harder and using more muscle, it doesn't go as far. So that would be my first recommendation: is to just kind of be more smooth and don't worry so much about the distance. Just try to throw it how you know how to.
So it's almost like the stress and the tense intenseness of a tournament causes you to kind of do what you're saying. No, you're kind of saying if you're trying to throw hard. I guess I'm thinking if you're like, you walk up to a hole and you're like, okay, I knew I threw 330, so that means I've got to really, really give it to make sure I throw like I did in practice. So maybe it's almost like trying to figure out just how to be calm before a tournament and maybe do some yoga. No, I'm playing.
I think you're getting most of your distance from the timing. Maybe not most, but a big portion of it is from timing and matching all parts of your body into the disc. So maybe focus on that instead of how much power you're putting into it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Next one is from Sean. I'm trying to find the best trilogy driver for distance for my arm speed. I tend to turn over my Lucid Sheriff, but my enforcer is a meat hook that I cannot get to stand up no matter what. Which driver would be in between those in stability?
What you think?
Well, I mean, I know what I would say, but I want to hear what you would say.
Can you repeat it?
I'm trying to find the best trilogy driver for distance for my arm speed. I tend to turn over my Lucid Sheriff.
Yeah.
But my enforcer is a meat hook.
Yeah. I think that I would say the Lucid. You could definitely try a Bio Defender, and that'll give you it's either that or Ballista Pro. But I think I would say probably more of the Bio Defender because it's going to, how the trespass does and it kind of turns to the right, you'll still get that, but it will hyzer back at the end like your enforcer does. So it'll kind of be the best of both worlds. If you're looking for something that goes a little farther than that, try the Ballista Pro. But I think first recommendation I would say would be Bio Defender.
For sure. Then we've got 2 new releases coming out, both of which I think will be fantastic for this. The Recoil and the Raider. We just saw the Raider thrown for the first time today. Looks pretty darn good. And I think that and the Recoil are going to be pretty similar to one another, probably around that 12-ish speed range. Not a lot of turn, but also not a lot of heavy fade, just kind of like pretty neutral somewhere in the middle. So like between a trespass and an enforcer. So yeah, try those out.
All right, this next one is from Jason. I am maybe a 10 to 11 speed who can get a Lucid Renegade to turn over slightly, but I don't see anything like the understable reputation that it has. I was thinking of getting a trespass for headwind shots and maybe to grow into as a driver. Would it be more beneficial to get a very light version such as Lucid Air or a slightly heavier version such as a 160 Biofusion? And what are the bigger picture stability, weight, speed reasons why you recommend one way or the other?
I would say the 160 version of the Biofusion. First of all, Biofusion is our most understable premium plastic. So you'll still be able to throw it into trees and it won't get as beat up as some of the less premium plastics, but it will still flip, especially if you're having a hard time flipping over your Renegade. Is that what he was saying at the beginning of that question? Yeah. And the reason for the weight as opposed to the Air one is because I think that's a misconception that Air discs are more flippy. In my experience, they're actually quite a bit more overstable. Most
just depends on the mold.
Yeah, it does depend on the mold, but a majority of them are more overstable. And also Air plastic doesn't do as well in the wind. So I would suggest the Bio in the 160 range.
Definitely.
There you go. Good answers. Good answer.
Quick question on here, Paige. What weight of disc do you throw?
I throw mostly max. If I want anything to flip a little, I'll drop down into like the heavier 160s, like 167-ish. Also, if I just want something to glide a little bit longer, I'll throw in 169 range. But that's for like my overstable defenders that I just want to glide a little bit more before they dump.
Cool. Thank you.
Next one is from Jack. I run the disc golf club at my high school. Most of the members have basically zero disc golf experience. I'm trying to find ways to teach the basics of throwing. Right now, I'm having them throw standstills or a crow hop like run up. I have them throwing witnesses or underworlds. So, 2 questions. 1, am I headed in the right direction with the standstill crow hop?
Okay. The crow hop, you would, dude. The crow hop portion, I would say you might not want to do that. If you're going to integrate a run up, I would integrate one that people would use all the time to play. And most people don't do quite as well with that, just like hop between their back foot before planting, right? I think standstill is a great way to go about it. And if I was going to build a run up from there, I would go from standstill to just a one step. Instead of a crow hop, like a run up, just do standing there, then one step into the throw.
Mhm.
And then after that, you can integrate your X step and everything.
2, I'm thinking of sending a large order out for discs, and I'm thinking that the diamond is the best choice. What are your thoughts?
Depends on how the witnesses and underworlds are working for them. If they are too stable as is, then yeah, diamond would be great. And that's always going to be great for someone who throws a disc for the very first time. But if they are doing quite well with the witnesses and underworlds, then I think you probably don't need that step down in stability that a diamond is, personally. What do you think about that?
I think you nailed it.
Yes.
This-
Champ approved.
This one is from Dylan, and this is actually something that I know me and Eric have talked about. I don't know if Robert's been on the show since we talked, but I'd like to get Paige's input on this, since you are, in fact, a touring pro and you are here. I come from...
And you are sitting here today.
And you're sitting here, and you're breathing. I come from a traditional ball golf background, and I've really enjoyed the similarities and differences between ball and disc golf since picking up disc golf 2 years ago. In traditional golf, there is a limit on the number of clubs you can have in your bag, 14 total. What do you think about having a limit on how many discs you can carry during a tournament round, and what impact do you think it would have on the scores? Would it level the playing field a bit? What do you think, Paige?
I think we don't need to add more rules. We have so many rules.
Fair
So
point.
also it kind of adds to the player's creativity. So I wouldn't want to see that taken away. But I personally would recommend using less anyway. I don't have more than 14 at most times. If there's a special hole or two, I might put more than 14 in my bag, but I actually keep it around that number. I just don't like to add too many variables and too many different discs to choose from. I think if that was implemented, you would see a little bit, maybe even better scores, honestly, because a lot of times you see a player head to the tee pad with multiple discs in their hand, and then even when they choose that disc, they're still probably thinking about those other 2 discs they set down.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a little bit more confidence in the disc choice and that shot selection. I think if that was limited to 14, I think you would see a little bit more just confidence in the selection.
So let me ask you this. Let's say I know you say no more rules, but let's just say for whatever reason the rule was put into place, and they came to you and they said, Paige Pierce, we need your input. You will decide the number of discs that you are allowed to have. What would you pick and why?
I would say 12 to 16.
Yeah.
I think 3 of each: putter, mid, fairway, and driver.
You think?
I think that's plenty sufficient.
Plenty sufficient to do that. No, I was just curious what the number would be, because most bags hold. I mean, most bigger bags hold 18 to 19 depending on the molds.
The one thing is though that in ball golf they're not ever losing their clubs. In disc golf,
Right.
you could lose a few discs in your round. So a lot of times a player, even the players that have like Zach Milton, who have 30
All
plus
the
discs in their
discs.
bag, he's not really, or not just he, but that player isn't necessarily using all of those in a round. It's for just in case shots. If you go into the woods and you need a little pitch out, or if you lose something you want and it's your go-to, you want to have a backup in your bag. So
Gotcha. All right. This one is from Eric. It's EIRIK.
Huh.
So,
Yeah,
hi guys.
Rick.
Thanks for what you do for the sport and for us listeners. I'm enjoying your show all the way over here in Norway. My question: at what distance do you drop the X step and go for standstill, or one step instead? What do you gain and what do you lose from doing that?
You throw a lot of standstills.
yeah, I do. I don't want to say ever, but I rarely do a one step. I think it just throws your timing off. So I'll do like a very, very small and more compact 3-step, or I'll stand still. And that, for me personally, the distance is that I'll stop stepping at all would be like inside 175.
Okay.
I was gonna say about 200, right around there.
Yeah.
And if I don't feel confident about a standstill, I'll just do that compact run up as well. I like that just so that your rhythm is the same. Even
Yeah.
if your steps aren't super long, you're not using them. You're not using them to get power. You're just using them to keep your rhythm the same.
Exactly.
I like that.
So last year, the United States Amateur Match Play Championship was a huge success.
Yeah, man.
A lot of people having wonderful time out at their local brackets and then working their way up to come to here to Emporia. Of course, congratulations to Matt
Whitlock.
Matt Whitelock.
You sounded confident. I believed it.
You were on
going
the way
for
there.
it. It was in my mind, and I was thinking that's not right, but I went for it. Yeah. So Whitlock won the 18 baskets and discs for life.
Yeah.
He did a really good job. It was super exciting. We did live broadcasts and stuff like that. So we are, of course, super pumped. We are pumped and pumped for 2019 Match Play Championships that will be taking place again. And the championships will take place here in Emporia. But registration for that actually starts February 1st.
First part of February. I don't know if it's actually the first, but it's early February.
Yeah, early February. So get yourself ready. Get yourself mentally ready, prepared to either run yourself a local bracket or participate in a bracket because it's going to be super fun.
We are also still looking for state coordinators for some states. We've got some leads on some people, but if you're in Alaska, we'd love for you to coordinate your state for that. Connecticut, Hawaii, those would be great places to have a state coordinator. North Dakota, Nevada, New Jersey. So yeah, lots of places still don't have state coordinators. So if you are interested in helping out with that, you can email ak@dynamicdiscs.com. He's your know-all portal into all things U.S. Amateur Match Play Championship.
Yeah, check out discgolfmatchplay.com for more information. Make sure you check out the FAQ section if you have questions on running a bracket in your area for sure.
Here's a question in the chat, and this is super helpful. Caleb says he's not familiar with the differences between match play rules and regular rules. So super fast. Regular rules is just stroke play. Paige and I go out. We both throw the shots needed to get the disc into the basket at the end of the round. We total up how many it took, and that's our score.
Paige wins by 10, 12.
Sometimes.
It's around there. I'm not too proud to admit that. Okay. But if we go and play match play, how it works is Paige and I go up to the first hole together. She throws her tee shot. I throw mine. We play our discs out, and she finishes the hole in 3 throws, and I finish it in 4. Paige would be then 1 up, and you get you have a chance to take a point on each hole by just having the outright best score on that hole. And it's not more or less depending on how many strokes you win or lose by. So if on that first hole Paige gets a 3 and I get a 7, she's still only 1 up. It's not 4 up at that point. It's only 1 up. The way that you finish a match play match is by being up more holes than there are holes remaining. So
more strokes.
Well,
more throws.
More holes. Because throws is separate of that.
Yeah, 1 up. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So we get to hole 15. That means there's 4 holes left, and Paige is 4 up at that point. And then we get the same score on hole 15. That means that she would win, and the score would be 4 and 3 because she was up 4 holes, and there's only 3 to go. So even if we played those remaining 3 holes and I won all of them, I would still lose. That means the match is over. Mm-hmm. So that's what match play is. It's really cool because
it's really fun.
Yeah, it's so much fun. And it for all of the times that we talk about it's just you and the course, now it's kind of you and your opponent, and it's just a really, really fun way to play disc golf in my opinion. So
yeah, you can run shots. Like the hole's never over till it's over. Even if Robert's parked under the basket and I hit first available, I now know a 3 will not win me the hole.
Yeah, so might as well go for a 2.
Try to run it.
Yeah, who cares? Why not?
It's really exciting.
I love it. I love it. If you haven't played it, you need to check it out. Match play is one of my favorite formats to play disc golf in, for sure.
All right, let's get back to the questions. This one is from Dennis. Hey, Bobby loves Torchy, Slick Breeze, Robert, Rockin' Hair McCall, and Eric. Thanks for signing my wife's present, McCabe.
Nice.
I'm strictly a trilogy thrower except for one disc, and that's the Mamba by Innova.
Mamba.
Is it the Mamba number 5?
Mm-hmm. That's actually Mambo.
Oh, dang it. Wrong one.
A little bit of
A
Monica.
little bit of Monica in my life. Okay. I only use this disc for my forehand throws because of the -5 turn. I throw left hand backhand, left hand forehand. Is there a disc you would recommend? Golly.
Is there a disc you would recommend?
Recommend that would give me the same result. Appreciate the answer. And as always, keep it real.
What say you?
For
super
me,
understable fairway.
I would say like a Renegade, or even if you want it even more understable than that, a Thief would be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
It's really understable.
You might even like a Witness if you're throwing a Mamba that much, because Mambas are like
real understable.
Very. So yeah, I think those three would be awesome. Witness, Renegade, Underworld's a good one too. You might check that out, and then the Thief as well.
That song is stuck in my head now.
I know. I was just singing it in my head just now too.
All right, Zach DeGraff wants to know, hey, Bobby, Eric, Robert, and whoever else might be in this episode. Paige Pierce.
What up?
I have a question about getting the full flight out of discs. How do I know if I'm getting the nose? Oh, wait. How do I know if getting the nose up is the problem or if it's not up to speed? For example, I have a Thief that when thrown goes straight and fades out at the end with no turn. I've heard from the podcast that the Thief is pretty understable. Do you think it's nose angle, not enough speed, or possibly both? I usually throw it about 225 to 250, if that helps.
Yeah, it could definitely be the nose angle. You don't ever want the nose to be up. When that's happening, the flight plate is exposed, and so it's slowing down the entire time it's flying. Especially if there's wind, that wind's going to push onto the flight plate and make it go backwards even if it's strong enough wind. So absolutely get the nose flat first. If you still have issues then try to put a little more speed on it. But I think that nose angle is going to dramatically improve getting the full flight for you.
Yeah.
Excellent.
You might also, he said he was throwing at 250, 275, somewhere in there. Is that what you said? It might also be a speed thing. Like that's a pretty comfortable fairway driver range for a lot of people. And so you may be just not quite getting it up to the speed needed to make it act understable, because I think the Thief is actually kind of low speed, kind of stable, but high speed understable. So when Paige and Eric and those guys throw it on rollers, they're not usually throwing it they're soft. They're throwing it pretty hard and it acts really understable at the beginning.
Yeah, but also the speed is going alongside with that nose angle, because since he's getting the nose
both.
angle up,
Yeah.
it is going slower.
Right.
So I think if he just gets it flatter, then the speed will already increase.
Sure. And then you'll have I agree. If it is flat, then you'll definitely know if you're not getting it up to speed, because it's not going to push right still, even if the nose is flat. If you are, then it should, get that turn and finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Johnny V just showed up. Thanks for showing up, Johnny V. So we're going to have to start the podcast over, he says.
Okay.
Nice. I'll see you on Smashbox tonight,
sir.
Johnny.
Oh, what up?
Oh, what up?
Are you going to be on Smashbox?
Uh-huh.
Dang.
Nice.
Wow. Cool.
You can come if you want.
Okay, sick. I'll be there. Yes.
All right. Next question comes
Is that
from,
okay, Johnny?
Thanks, Johnny. Thanks in advance, Johnny.
The next one comes from Sergio Sagado.
Yeah.
Sagado.
I would really like to
Sergio
see how that
Sagado.
one's spelled, but
Yeah,
that's okay.
Salgado.
Oh, Salgado.
Sagado.
You're making it sound
I just
really
like watching your face.
you're making it sound really like Portuguese or something.
Maybe it is. Sergio Sagado.
I kind of doubt
Okay.
it is.
Okay,
Okay,
anyway.
but what does he say?
Sagado. He says, I have been playing disc golf for 2 years.
Now he's Italian. Come on, man.
Okay, he's been playing Tudolf. He's been playing disc golf for 2 years. I have a basket at home and I practice putting almost every day. I have practiced enough so that 25 feet is the distance that I can putt and comfortably make 9 out of 10 putts. Recently, though, on the course, I can't make 20-foot putts. My confidence is not there and my mental game has decreased. In your experience, have you gone through a slump like this? And what tips do you have that help you overcome these slumps? Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Well, if you're putting that good in your backyard, maybe try to just envision that you are in your backyard. I think tricks are going to be different for everybody. Just tricks that get you through everyday life, you can kind of implement into your disc golf game. When Robert's having a bad day, he's going to do something differently than when I'm having a bad day. So just think about that. Like
It's every day.
But I definitely have slumps like that for sure. And I think something that I do is just change something very small, something that's not going to affect the disc's flight or anything like that, but just something that's even though it's really small, just helps your mental game and makes you think that you're going to do better. But for you, if you're 9 out of 10 from 25 in your backyard, that seems like you're a pretty good putter. So just try to envision your backyard and don't think so much about the outcome of the putt going in or the putt not going in. Just think of like when you're back there, the motions that you go through.
Yeah. And if that's something that you feel confident doing, be able to be honest with yourself and say, am I missing because I'm not doing what I do in the backyard, or am I missing because of some other reason? You know, am I changing something in the meantime? Because a lot of times when I'm missing putts, it's because I'm not following through, or mentally I'm not following through mentally either. So most of the time I don't change anything. I just say, actually do that this time, you know? And if you're missing like that, that's when I really I love that recommendation. Change something small because it feels like, oh, I've unlocked the secret. Like now I can make all my putts because I made this one adjustment and it's perfect. Even though it didn't really change a whole lot, mentally you think this is awesome. I have it figured out.
Yeah.
So I like that. That's a good one.
Oh, do you?
Thanks, Robert.
Well, I mean,
this next one's
it's
from
a good
Dotson.
Dachshund?
Okay. I love how Robert, Bobby, and Danny found jobs within the disc golf field. Apparently, he doesn't like that Anthony has. So, poor Anthony.
Sorry, Tony.
Can you talk about some jobs related to disc golf for people who just aren't on the level to play pro? Though Robert is awesome as a player in person behind the scenes.
I mean, dynamic disc is growing every day, so I would say you just want to keep your eye out for
Shoot your resume over.
Yeah, when they post another job opening, just apply. If you want to,
I mean, it's a business, right? So it's going to have the stuff that businesses have. It's going to have accounting. We have people that pull orders. We have people that
work in the shop.
They have to do the same. You know, just like if you walked into the mall, it's the same kind of jobs related. Obviously, it'd be good if you had some disc golf experience, but it's the same thing. You gotta stock the shelves. You gotta pull the orders. You gotta answer people's calls. You gotta deal with people's issues that they're having with their orders and stuff like that. So, just about any business job that's out there, we have it. We just happen to do it with something that we love to do, which is disc golf, or do it for.
I'm gonna keep it real for a second.
Oh, you about to keep it? I need to get like a keep it real song or like a keep it real.
Yeah.
Like an intro.
Maybe a nice light that we could flip on while we keep it real. just
we about to keep it.
We about to keep it real. Working in disc golf sounds awesome, and I think a lot of people think what we do is we go into work every day. We answer a few emails. We take a couple of hours to do that, and then we spend a lot of the rest of the day like throwing discs and testing new products and thinking about new cool stuff that we can do, and it's all discs, and it's not that. Okay. Working in disc golf is just like Bobby said, it's just like working in a lot of other jobs. We are lucky to be able to do something that is super cool, right? Like we get to be on a podcast that all you guys are a part of. We get to go to events and film, and that's super duper cool. But you need to understand it's not always like the greatest thing ever. Sometimes you have to do stuff that you would have to do at any other job that you don't love to do. So I just want to put it out there. I think a lot of people think if I could just work in disc golf, that would be the dream. And then I think they would be surprised at what it's actually like to work here. Now, having that said, I love working here. It's awesome, but just don't have this utopian view of if I just got a job in disc golf, no matter what it pays, no matter what I have to do, it'd be so great. It may not be for you.
Right.
So anyway,
So Miss Debbie Downer over there.
Okay. Well, I'm just teasing. I'm trying to keep it real.
No, he's absolutely right. There are days where I'm like, I've got to fill out an expense report.
Yeah.
Now I've got to do this. I've got to.
There's stuff that's not fun. Like Brian and I have to remove people from the team sometimes. Days like that suck. Yeah. Nobody likes to do that. Yeah. We have to have calls where somebody is really counting on something that they've got this idea that they really know is going to work out. Yeah. And we're just like, we just can't support that right now, or we don't think that's going to work for us.
It's okay. I forgive you.
It sucks. Yeah. It happens to Paige all the time. It's just stuff like that sucks. It's not always rainbows and butterflies.
Zach, it is keeping it real is my thing, but I offer it to other people as well. I offer it to Robert to keep it real.
James Morris says, sounds like it's Robert's week to clean the restrooms. Fair. I'm a little bitter. It's not a big deal. I'm just kidding.
All right, let's get back to the question. This one's from Steven. He says, Malachi Mini. Malachi Mini. Hey, I'm a big fan of the podcast. Can you please make a DeGam Malachi Mini? I know I would definitely buy one. I think many others would as well. Also, great podcast. Filled with good info. Really loving my escape, musket, and getaways that I picked up based on info from the show.
Nice.
Thanks, Steven. Maybe we'll make a DeGam Malachi Mini.
That was awesome.
This one's for Disc Golf Strong, so I'm going to have to get a hold of Seth and send that to him so he can do that. Just so you guys know, Seth Muncie does Disc Golf Strong, and he's helping a lot of pros. Does he do anything with you yet or at all?
Yeah, we have, but when I left for my trip, I just didn't have any time.
He works with, and he's actually helping me. He gives me workout and stuff like that, but he has some super, I don't want to say exactly what it is because it's coming out in the next few days if everything goes as scheduled, but some really cool disc golf physical fitness stuff specific to help, because we are at the time, well, it's always been, but we're really at the times that I think a lot of the athletes are realizing that they've got to condition their body. It's not just going out and playing and being and strictly just talent taking you where you can go. You've got to, there's a lot of talented people out there. So if you need an edge, then that edge can just be in better physical shape. Or, you're going to go play that tournament of 4 rounds. By the 3rd round, is your body able to take on all that walking and throwing and stuff like that? So you've really got to take care of your body. So Disc Golf Strong is here to help you for sure. So I think you can go to discgolfstrong.com and follow that. And then you can follow on Facebook and be ready for this big announcement that he has. And I think it's going to be really cool. All right. So
is it that you should work out to get better at disc golf?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
huge announcement. Yeah. Discgolfstrong.com is the correct.
Yeah.
Site.
So let's see. Jack Schroeder wants to know, why is it called the Glass Blown Open? Let's give like the 3-minute version because we've talked about this before.
Quick
3
version.
minute. I think we could answer it quicker than
Oh, that's
that.
true. 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Quick version. The trophies for the tournament a while ago were made by like a world-renowned glass blower. Who lives here in Emporia? Is that right?
He did, I think.
Yeah. I don't remember his name. I know Eric would remember if he was here, but that just became one of the cool things about, at the time it was the Emporia Open, I think. Mm-hmm. And then it got renamed the Glass Blown Open because the trophies were so cool. They were coveted. Now it's been that for a long time.
There you go.
And they're still cool.
They're awesome. Super duper cool.
Thomas wants to know, can you explain why it is recommended to learn how to throw a putter when you are learning how to play disc golf? And do y'all think it would be beneficial for someone trying to improve their form to learn?
Absolutely. Putters are very important to know how to throw, not just when you're beginning, through all different skill types. But I think I would always recommend throwing a putter to a beginner just because there's less movement. So with a driver, when you throw it, it could look good for about 50 feet and then it goes really hard to the left. And it's kind of discouraging because when they lose speed, they just want to find the ground quicker. And when a putter loses speed, it still wants to penetrate forward. So not only is it encouraging because you can see it fly longer, but it also just shows you your errors because a putter can't handle as much turn or speed or torque or anything like that. So anything you're doing wrong, the putter will expose it.
I remember seeing a lot of players that beginners that are picking up these high-speed drivers because, of course, they see the pros throwing it.
Right.
And I'm wondering, how are they making this disc work for them? And then I watch them throw, and they're actually adjusting.
Yeah, it's
their
torquing it over, and then.
And I'm thinking that's bro. in the long run, in the long term, that's not going to be beneficial. So you need something that's going to help teach you how to throw properly.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if I've nodded as hard at an answer as I did just now when Paige was answering. Like, yes, thank you, yes. So for all the times that we talk about it, and y'all are like, I don't want to throw putters. This is the best female disc golfer in the world right now. Listen to her, please. Do it.
Also, who doesn't like to be on the fairway?
Come on, man.
Come on.
Find the fairway, man. Come on.
I like to throw it straight.
Mm-hmm.
And even if I come up short, it's on the fairway.
Yeah, you don't have to go look for it. It's like, oh, there it is in the fairway.
At least I have a putt. It might be a jump putt, but at least I have a putt right at the basket instead of being in the woods and having to throw an overhand out and get some thorns in my leg.
I'm not trying to play that game. What we got, Bobby? Mr.
Trying
Malachi.
to figure this one out, so I see if this is a controversy. This one is from they put the name
Controversy.
Smokescreen. Oh, you never watched Jimmy Fallon? Controversy. What is up, Disc Golf fam? I'm a recent newcomer to the sport, but I'm older than your average newbie. I'm closing in on 50.
Same.
I am into the personal fitness, so I am highly adverse to the cigarette smoke and vape clouds that seem to surround the gatherings of players in my area. Whenever I play with a group, I work to stay downwind as much as possible, but it takes away from my game. A, is this more of a local issue? B, how do you think this affects the growth of the sport? And thank you for your thoughts.
Honestly, I think it's kind of irrelevant to disc golf. I think that, well, if you're in a tournament, it should be illegal anyway. Most tournaments it is. Some tournaments it's tournament director's discretion. So if that's the case, talk to the tournament director. Talk to them first and ask them to stop. If they don't, then definitely just talk to the tournament director. But if it's not in a tournament, I think it's just something we have to deal with as humans on this earth. It's nothing to do with disc golf.
Right.
Whatever activity you're doing, people are smoking and vaping. So don't try to correlate it and ask these questions on public podcasts because it's only bringing more attention to it. And it really isn't anything that disc golf is.
It's not exclusive to
No,
disc golf.
absolutely.
Do you realize just
not.
what happened?
What?
Paige just kept it real.
Oh my gosh, where was our light?
You kept it
Did someone
real.
click on the light? Come
I
on,
know.
come on.
It's
guys.
kind of annoying that people think it's an association with
only to
disc
disc
golf.
golf.
That
No, yeah.
people everywhere smoke weed. They smoke vapes. They
Right.
smoke cigarettes.
Right.
People drive drunk. It's nothing to do with disc golf. It's I know that this is why we're here. It's a disc golf podcast.
Sure.
So I understand your question, but I think just by talking about it, we're doing more harm than good.
Gotcha. Fair point. Yeah, and I would have to say, to me, in my disc golf career, it hasn't happened so much so that I get totally upset. And a lot of
Right.
times, if I am in a group where there is, I
Oh my goodness.
Something
Somebody just died up
dropped.
there, I
Something
think.
just happened.
wow. Did you guys hear that?
That
on
really
the
made me
YouTube?
jump.
That made me jump too. I wish I had replay on this because I wanted to see how. Anyway, you just moved to the side or something. So, anyway, we've given it too much time than we need to. So let's go on to Kyle's
Light off.
question. Yeah, light off. Yeah, unkeeping it real. Totally fake.
Back to fake, dude. I'm about it.
That was fun. Yeah.
Kyle wants to know, hey guys, hope all is well. I was wondering what each of you think is the most underrated disc from each of the brands, trilogy brands, that is.
Lucid Convict.
You think it's
there more to-
underrated?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay. Why?
I do. I think that even our team doesn't throw it.
Yeah.
And I think that has a lot to do with how many molds we have available, which
Yeah.
isn't a problem. It's great how many different options we have available, but with that being said, that's why I think it's being overlooked is just because we have so many other options. But I think it's such a versatile disc, and honestly, I think fairway drivers are one of the biggest. They're very important. They're very important to get distance, but also to stay pretty straight. And this is exactly what the Convict does for me. And I can throw it with a hyzer or an Anheuser, and I know what it's going to do. I
Gotcha.
just really love it.
In my opinion, let's see, most underrated disc.
In the whole trilogy.
In the
line.
I think he meant from each of them, but I think we can just kind of
Yeah, we'll just
answer as we
give
go.
it.
I can do mine while you think.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think the Latitude 64 Cenis is super underrated.
Hey, Robert, you seen this?
Yeah, you seen
Oh
this?
my
Seen
gosh.
this? Man, have you seen
Have you
this?
seen this?
Anyway, Danny said that one time after I threw it in. We've laughed about it since. I love it because I love the Slammer, and I threw the Slammer for a long time before I threw the Cenis. But the Cenis is like a kind of like a worked-in Slammer out of the box that you can throw straight. I think Slammers take a long time to be able to throw straight. So
Mhm.
I love it. I think it's great in the wind. I use it for almost every approach shot. I think it's super underrated. You should check it out if you haven't. It's quite good.
I would say,
I have one more if you don't take mine.
what
But
do you mean Marty Bobby has a career? What does that mean, Marty Smith on YouTube?
He works here, man. This is his career.
I don't see a lot of people throwing, and maybe it's just I haven't paid attention, the Warrant?
Oh,
That one doesn't make a lot of bags right now, no.
And I think that's a really good disc. I really
Mhm.
like it, at least for my throw. I
Yeah.
really like the straightness of the Warrant.
Mhm.
Now, if I really get on it, I can get it to turn a little bit, but for the most part, it keeps me straight when I don't really need a lot of distance. But I've got some trees to deal with, and so I really like the Warrant.
Yeah.
I think another one that I think of right away is the Suspect.
Yep.
And I think that's because the harp is such a well-known
Mm.
and well-loved disc that the Suspect gets overlooked sometimes. And I think they complement each other very well. And it's a great disc.
Suspect is super good.
I like my
I throw it
Suspect.
a lot for
I agree with
upshots.
that. There's one other that I thought of. Oh, when you said Warrant, that reminded me. I like the Fuse a lot, because I mean, we talk about a lot of the discs from the DD lineup that I throw all the time. You know, the EMAC Truth, the Felon, the Defender and Enforcer. Everybody knows those are great. So I would say they're rated, not overrated. Just they are properly rated, right? But I think the Fuse doesn't get a lot of press, and it's really, really easy to throw straight. Like super easy to throw straight. And if you lean on it a little bit, you can move it right. And if you put it on hyzer, it'll hold hyzer. It's really good. It's Thomas Ekstrom who designs our discs.
Yeah.
That's his favorite disc of all time.
You just want to be friends.
I was
with
going to say
Thomas.
that actually.
Yeah.
Dude, we were bros. Come on.
He said, I asked him, what's your favorite disc you ever made? And he was like, the Fuse. And then I proceeded to watch him throw it like 50 times. And it
Perfectly.
did the same thing every time.
Yes. Yeah. And the one that he was throwing is like one of the first ones that came out of the machine. And it's been the same.
I've never even thrown one.
I think you'd like it.
I'm going to go in there in a little bit.
Sweet. I have one that you can borrow if you don't want to just get a new one.
Okay, you
Why
want to
don't
go
you
throw in
mail-
this snow?
Yeah. It's only a few inches left here.
Why don't you mail her one and mail it to where she's not at?
What good jokes, Bobby.
Whatever, man.
All right, next question is from Russell.
Trying to make me look like an idiot.
I'm very new to disc golf. Played only two 18 round.
2 rounds
played
of
only
18
two
holes.
18-hole rounds so far,
Nice.
and obsessed with it. Wow, got him early.
Nice.
Huh? I am 6 feet 8 inches tall and was
What?
one.
Same.
Same, yeah,
So I'm ready to answer this
Are you
question.
sure that's what it says?
6 feet 8 inches tall.
Wow.
Johnny V, are you still in here?
Yeah,
You can
Johnny,
answer this.
maybe you need to help us out on this one. What are the advantages and disadvantages to being this tall in disc golf? That's one question. What do you guys think?
I think
How tall is Germ?
I think he's 6'6"
So
or
he's-
6'7", so
Okay.
he's
He's a
pretty
He's a big
similar.
fella. Yeah.
I know that I was thinking of that because I play a lot of rounds with Germ, and when we get to a hole that has a low ceiling, he definitely makes it known his frustrations. So maybe that would be a huge disadvantage. Is just
Right.
like when you're playing wooded golf and there is a low ceiling, that it's going to be harder for you to hit the gap.
Yeah.
But I think a big advantage you have is that your putts seem shorter with longer arms.
Well, that's
Long
true.
limbs, yeah.
Yeah.
Miles Seaborn always talks about it being difficult because he's 6'3" or so definitely not as tall as this guy, but still pretty tall. He feels like he's putting down at the basket quite a bit, and, which is kind of interesting. I've never thought about that unless I'm, on a slope
Right.
where the basket's
Right.
below
I
my
was
feet.
just thinking uphill putts will probably be quite a bit easier for him.
Yeah. But I do think tall people have an advantage in that they have those longer limbs so that, they've just got more space to make stuff happen. Hey,
Whoa.
my chair just broke. I've seen people who are tall be able to throw farther a lot easier, a lot earlier, just because they had those super long limbs. But, that's never been a concern of mine.
Johnny V says tall problems. Your arms have more variance. Putting down at the basket is different, like you mentioned with Miles. And then he says
Better for
better
driving,
for
though.
driving though. 'Cause
More variance.
you have more reach, I guess is that what it is. You have more distance in your reach type of thing.
Yeah.
Another one, Johnny V says, what are some discs for bigger hands? I've seen a lot of reviews saying people with little hands will love this disc. Is that a disc I should avoid or just learn to love?
I think there's some. I'm not sure. Okay, I don't have huge hands either, but I think there are some discs that some people will not love because they are too big for small hands, which would be like Speed 14 discs, like the Freedom, the Ballista Pro, the Ballista, ones like that. Sometimes those wider rims aren't super comfortable if you don't have bigger hands. I don't mind those discs, but it's just fine for me. For someone with big hands, I don't know. I've never asked. Like, I'm sure Germ has monster hands. He's like huge. I don't know. He's a tall guy. I'd be interested in seeing how different it is for people with big hands if they have trouble gripping those smaller rim discs. I don't
Right.
know. Can't answer that.
This one is from Michael. I started playing disc golf in 2006, took the last few years off, and have recently discovered my love of the game. I love the DD content and what you do for the sport, so I want to try out your plastic.
Nice.
I'm a lifetime Innova disc golf thrower, including AVRs and P&As.
AVR putting approaches.
All right. I recently purchased a judge, deputy warden, and marshal to find out which of your putters is best for me. Any suggestions on the best way to test these out? Oh, so what would be a good way to figure out what putter is best for you?
I would say go to about like 25 feet. I think from 10 to or 15 feet in, all putters are going to fly pretty similar.
Yeah.
But when you get back to like 25 or so, you're going to see their stability more.
Mm-hmm.
For me, when I first switched over to DD and I was trying out all the putters, I noticed that big time that from 15, I was making putts with all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I backed up, maybe the judges were hyzering a little bit too quick, or the Macanas were going a little bit too right. And then you just kind of find which one works for you. So I would say maybe go with 25 feet, give or take, and just practice from there.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, well, I always liked your philosophy on what you aim for when you're putting. Talk to us a little bit about that real quick. What's your, I don't want to say it because I want you to say it, but what are you aiming for and why?
I just aim at the very, very middle of the basket. That way, if I miss high, I have some room. If I miss low, I have some room. And same with left and right. That way, if you mess up, you just have room for error. And I'll just go straight from I'm a spin putter, so I just go straight from my belly button to the middle of the pole and try to let my arm never leave that path. About to break some bottles in here. Just try to make sure that my arm never leaves the flight plate I want the disc to fly on.
And I always like what you said too, is like when you're throwing at the middle of it in your mind, which it makes sense, is that there are more chains involved. So to kind of grab it and keep it in the basket.
And that goes along with the disc being flatter as well. When it's on a hyzer angle or anhyzer angle, it's only hitting about 3 chain links. And when it's the flatter it is, the more width the disc has, and so it's hitting more chain links.
Let me ask you this. So
that's something you're super good at that I'm jealous of. I have a really hard time getting the disc to the basket exactly flat. Like I can do it, but it's hard. It seems like it's like natural for you. That's awesome.
I definitely have tried over and over and over again to try to build up that repetition, because I've noticed that, and especially too, even when you're missing and it's flat, you have less likely chance of it rolling or
right.
So when you're putting way far away, like I always get frustrated because I don't know the distances because I don't pay attention, but I try to do the straight at it type thing, everything that you were talking about. But as I get farther away, I feel like because I don't have the form or the whatever to long distance straight at it. I end up throwing it out so it hyders back in. How do you, when it's longer, how do you make sure that are you still shooting it straight at the basket?
Yeah, I am. So just like a drive, and we were talking about up shots, and when you're standing still, you can we were just talking about it. Yeah. When you're standing still, it's like 175 feet and you're just kind of pushing off that leg. And when you're throwing a drive, you're doing this full run up and you're really putting your body into it. It's the same for me on putting. So if I have a 15-foot putt, I'm only pushing off that back leg maybe 30% power. But if I'm going back to like 45, 50 feet, now I'm pushing off my back leg with like 70 or 80% of my power, my body weight. And when I'm like as far as I can physically putt the disc, I have like 90% of my body weight on that back foot and am really pushing the weight off the back part of my body into the front.
And you're still aiming toward the center?
Yes.
Too. Okay. All right. I'll have to practice that so I can get my 850 rating by the end.
Oh yeah, that's Bobby's rating challenge this year. He's 807 right now.
I think 806 or 807.
Yeah.
Some people mentioned about the rating challenge. Yes, we're getting something put together. We'll put it out there for people. We're getting people to give themselves a goal and then see if they can meet their goal, and
nice.
we'll kind of keep up with it and stuff like that. So, but the disc golf season hasn't quite kicked in yet, so I've got a little time.
Yeah, we haven't played any tournaments yet.
Yeah, so
Bobby's shooting for 850. Anthony is currently 90 something rated.
Pretty close, 906, 907.
He's shooting for 950.
He's shooting for 950.
Yeah.
And Danny wants to.
What was yours?
He wants.
He said 10:30.
He's going for 10:30.
Dang.
Just not to drop. Just improve a little.
All right, next one is from Taylor. It's about the mental game. Hey, I'm about to play my first PDJ tournament in 3 years.
Nice.
I have progressed a lot in my game since then. In casual rounds, I compete with the open level players in my area. However, I am playing in the advanced division to help me get used to PDJ tournament play. A couple of questions for you involving the mental game. How do you stay focused shot to shot amidst slower play and backups? And how do you keep your body warm and loose during those backups?
For me, there's always going to be backups. So kind of just try to plan for it. And maybe when you're playing your practice round, wait at each T-pad for 5 minutes just to kind of get that practice in on that, because it's definitely something that happens at least once in the tournament round. But for me, I'll just step aside and like practice my putting stroke or my driving stroke. And as far as the focus, I think just keeping in mind that what shot you're going to throw, what angle, what line, all these things that you're thinking about in that 30 seconds you have on the T-pad. But now just think of it as it's a matter of perception. You can think about, oh, I got 5 minutes to wait. Or you can think about, okay, I have 5 minutes to prepare for this next shot I have coming up. And so I think it could actually benefit you if you just choose to think that way.
Cool.
I like it. Or you could always do hacky sack.
Or that.
Like
Yeah.
some people do.
I like to let my thoughts go in between shots, because I would find myself getting exhausted at the end of the round from just like focus. Because I overthink everything. So I let a shot go and be like, is it going to be okay? And then we don't know where it lands. And like, oh, am I going to have a look? And it was really, really bad. So it helped me a lot to focus really intently for those 20, 25 seconds, throw the shot, and then just let my focus go until I get to the next one. So backups have really never bothered me, other than like the physical part of not feeling warmed up anymore. But I like that preparation thing. Like, let's use this time to prepare. Kind of dig that. I hadn't thought about that before.
Nice.
You're
All right,
so
so we got
smart, man. God,
We got one more question we'll ask
Whatever.
on the audio show, but YouTube people, you're watching, you get to have a little bit of bonus of after show and ask us some questions.
Bonus show.
A little AMA.
Emma.
So get your questions ready on YouTube while we answer this last question on the audio podcast. This one from Charlie. How do moonshine and hybrid plastics compare to Lucid in terms of stability and wear?
Moonshine's going to be our most premium plastic. It has the most stability, I've found, over stability. A hybrid, I don't know that I could like positively answer that question, because I don't really throw anything in hybrid. So I'll let Robert tackle that one.
I think hybrid and Lucid are pretty similar. If anything, hybrid may not wear in quite as quickly as Lucid, but that's not to say that Lucid wears in quickly. I just think hybrid's super duper durable. And I would agree with Moonshine starts out the most overstable. I think it works into a spot that is less stable. Ultimately, like its sweet spot, I think it works in a little bit faster, but that's not to say that it's super fast. So yeah, if I was to say right out of the gate, most overstable would be Moonshine, then hybrid Lucid are pretty similar, and I think they settle in a similar spot as well. Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to the podcast. And thank you again to Paige Pierce for being on the show with us. Guys, make sure you follow her on Instagram, ppierce21290.
Yeah, you
Is
heard
her-
him.
29190.
What'd I say?
21290.
Hey, wait, they know what I said, right?
That's
like
really
that.
close.
Yeah, come on now. So anyway, go follow her on Instagram. Go follow her on Facebook so you know what's going on, because 2019 is going to be an amazing year for everyone, including Paige Pierce.
Yeah, man.
Cool. Anything else you want them to know, Paige, about what's going on for you in 2019?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to be hitting the
Yeah,
tour
yeah,
pretty
sure.
hard,
Yeah.
like every year. And I might be skipping a few tournament weekends and like doing more promotional and like clinics and stuff like that,
Nice.
and doing some Team DD clinics with Eric and maybe some Luck of the Draws.
Nice.
So yeah, I'll be at all the big ones, and I'll also be doing like a bunch of videos this year. So
Good.
gonna ramp up my YouTube page again.
Have you been practicing on your little camera?
Yeah, I actually returned it today.
Oh, why?
It really didn't focus well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get another one.
Gonna
But
give you one. We'll talk about so.
Yeah, we can
I'm
talk.
sure Alyssa's giving you advice on it and stuff, but
yeah,
maybe I can help you out with some advice as well.
thanks.
All right, audio podcast listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you want to be part of the after show, see if you can tune in on Tuesday afternoons on YouTube.
Please.
See ya.